The Mecklenburg County ABC Law Enforcement Division provides a free training program to ABC permitted establishments called the Alcohol Seller and Server Excellence Training to educate employees on the possession and sale of alcohol. This ABC officer training covers underage sales, forms of acceptable identification, and employee age requirements. The Mecklenburg County ABC Board, more than a bottle.
Hi, I'm Madison James, afternoon personality here at Mix 1079, and welcome to Radio 1 Charlotte's Community Mental Health. It's a series in partnership with Mecklenburg County Alcoholic Beverage and Control Board, and this will be a space where we'll find hope, resources, and assistance. Over the next several months, we will discuss a topic for our listeners that can affect your overall mental and behavioral health. And for the month of August, as many of you are preparing to send your kids back to school, our topic today is back to school and campus behavioral health. To provide us with the toolbox we need to navigate back to school and campus behavioral health, I'd like to welcome Mr. Kenneth Gilliard, founder of A Better World, and also Sandy McCaskill, who's also Director of Operations. Thank you guys so much for being with us today, and so excited for Community Mental Health Series, which is brought to you by Mecklenburg County ABC Board. How's everyone today?
Fine, Madison. Thank you for having us.
I'm so excited. Sandy, how are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you, Madison. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Great stuff. Again, thank you all for being here today. And the focus is on community mental health, and times are different now as kids go back to school. There are a lot of other pressures and a lot of things that they deal with, anxiety, things that are happening at home. And you all have an amazing program. Can you share a little bit more about the organization and how you're going to give parents those tools to navigate through the school year?
Well, Madison, we have been operating this A Better World for 25 years, and a lot of this is birthed from a heart and a burden that I have for people that come from neighborhoods like I came from. And I know the struggles that people go through and don't quite understand how, after so many years of going through hardship and pain and lack of this and lack of that and lack of food and being in a food desert and not eating healthy and running out of soap, running out of toothpaste, running out of deodorant every week, every day of the month for years and years and years. And some people don't know the burdens that put on children. And when they get older, they say, well, why are you acting out like that? They just don't know what we have gone through. So I understood that world and know if you just had somebody to support those things, those basic need things, and to help you with just the basic needs, and you can get the proper education, you'll survive, and there will be upward mobility. But the mental health part of it is, you're so broken by the time you get to 13, 14, 15 years old, because you've gone through so much. And then on top of that, you can't read and write. You're not operating on grade level. They say if you can't read by third grade, the chance of upward mobility is none, slim to none.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time you get there, mental health is turned into insanity. And then the young people start acting out, and it's getting even worse today. So A Better World steps in and say, hey, we got you. And we know where you come from. We know it's going to take a while, but we're not going anywhere. We're going to hang in there with you. And that's why we've been hanging around for 25 years.
And we're so grateful for the services that you provided. And like everything comes from a need, right? You saw the need and you thought, there are other families that can really benefit from this great service. Sandy, you are Director of Operations, and also we have joining the conversation too, Taylor Justice, who is the Executive Program Director. Thank you all again for being here, and welcome, Taylor, to the conversation. Can you share and I'll have you go first, Sandy, and then Taylor, you can piggyback on that. What makes your after-school program, what makes it different than the other programs out there?
Well, one thing that makes us different, Madison, is that we want to support the child holistically. I mean, provide for them physically, whether it's daily hot meals, we provide them with fresh produce and groceries during the week, or we provide outdoor activities as well. And of course, we have to provide the academic support. We have a program that we use called iReady that helps those children to get back on grade level. We also have a reading buddy program, and there are so many other things. We have counseling services provided to our children. So that is one of the things that I think make us different from other after school programs.
And Taylor, would you like to add and kind of piggyback on that, if you would?
Yeah, definitely. As Sandy had mentioned, it's a combination of factors beyond the academics alone. It's that academic development, that social and emotional development, and that's where the mental health piece plays a huge part, and it's key. We address the physical health and well-being, again, tied to mental health, and of course, the spirituality part of it. And the prevention and early intervention at such a young age, when they start with us, they are guaranteed success and to get out of poverty.
Again, such amazing things that you all are doing. And can you guys really focus? You touched on this earlier when you were speaking about literacy, and some kids don't have the skill to be able to read or write or read at the level that they need to be at. And sometimes that creates isolation, bullying going on, because that's happening in schools, embarrassment, and also it hinders the confidence because there's something that no one else knows. So can you talk about how literacy is important and what you have done to really shine a light on that and help kids be their best self?
Yeah, the Opportunity Task Force that was formed, I guess 6 or 7 years ago, and a group of leaders in this city did a study for like 2 years and found that upward mobility was a serious issue in our community. If you were born in poverty, you're definitely going to stay in poverty. If you can't read on a third grade level, that's alarming. Because now I got to tell an 8-year-old at the age of 8, if you can't read on third grade level, you're going to fail. You're not going to get out of poverty. Now, what does that sound like telling an 8-year-old child, you are not going to make it? I mean, an 8-year-old. And so we're saying no to that because with our iReady program and with our reading program, and Charlotte is and when it comes to upward mobility, Charlotte is number 50. They're dead last. Ooh. When it comes to the 50 top cities in this country, Charlotte is dead last when it comes to upward mobility. So if you're born in poverty in Charlotte and can't read on a third grade level, you're not getting out of poverty. Mm. And the area that we live in, 70% of the Title I schools are below that, are not reading. 70%. They're reading at 23% reading proficiency in these Title I areas and 83% reading proficiency in Southeast Charlotte. So that means that 70% of our children that are in elementary school right now will not get out of poverty. And they are determined, statistics are showing that they're determined how many prison beds they build based on how many kids can't read by third grade. And so that is not acceptable to us. That shouldn't be acceptable to our community of mentoring and volunteering. And what we do here, we have the best reading program in the country. People just don't, if they come and see it, they'll find out, because we can get kids back 1 to 2 grade levels in 60, 90 to 120 days. We've proven it in the last 4 years with the new software we're using, iReady and Reading Buddies, and with a drop everything and read, a physical book. We've proven it. And so what we do here is critical. We've seen mental health issues, children that were problems. We got them up 2 grade levels and the issues vanished. Right. Now the confidence is growing. And I mean, these kids are shining. Our program is 87%. It tops everything. Reading proficiency. Our children. Unheard
And
of.
like you said, right? Sometimes it comes to kids, they don't have the skills to really express how they feel. So they have a tendency to act out.
Right.
And what you just said, when you're bringing them up in those levels, you see a whole different child.
Whole different child. And we see it, it may take, we've had kids come in the program, they're acting out really bad. And we know, we could say, we can't deal with them, but we know, hey guys, we're going to have to hang in here. We know at least 3 weeks to see if we're going to, and at least after about 3 or 4 weeks, that child begins to calm down because now they're getting used to a systematic habit of being, just someone loving on them and being patient with them. Because the world, with the kind of brokenness and mental health we're dealing with, these are not our kids and they're not the world kids. And nobody's going to tolerate that in the world we live in today. First, you got to have a deep love to tolerate the brokenness that's causing the mental health, and then start slowly, dealing with the problems. Like, that's why we feed a meal every day, a hot meal every day. We have a cook so that child will know that we love them and man, they care about me. And we get them in these computer labs, 30, 40 minutes, a day on this iReady program. They twist and turn for a minute, but after about a week, they settle in and they're laser focused. And so that's a very deep love that can only deal and tolerate with that deep level of brokenness. Only a deep love can deal with a deep brokenness that the average person is not going to tolerate.
Right. And you guys are doing amazing work. And to that point, right, pouring into kids, it takes a village. And we actually have a parent who has benefited from your services. We have Lakita, who is going to join us right now. And Lakita can really share Ken and the staffs, Sandy and Taylor, what happens when you have people that care and pour into a child, because we need help coming from all different angles. So Lakita, tell us about your experience.
Yes, good morning. As I'm listening to Pastor Ken, I'm excited to be able to share our story because I feel like what he's sharing is truly what we were going through. So my children came to live with me when they were 3 and 7 years old. And my 7-year-old could not read. He was headed into 3rd grade. He could not read at all. He could recognize letters. And I stumbled upon A Better World. And for me and my husband, for us being first-time parents, we didn't know what to do. We had some pretty serious behavior issues with my son, the 7-year-old. He was very aggressive physically. He was a little bully. He was a class clown. And I had, forgive me because I'm a little teary. It really, this is so deep for us. And we didn't know what to do with that. And we did our best to try and teach him the basics of reading. And once we were able to get him into A Better World, and I just want to say, financially, out of everything that we had an opportunity to send him to, the one that has benefited us is A Better World because we can afford it. It's not a choice for us between sending our kids to after school and summer camp or having enough groceries and being able to pay all of our bills. It's not a financial strain on us just because, you know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like the cost of things for children is just exorbitant. So sending them to A Better World, I would say within the first year, my son started reading. and we struggled with him getting F's in school. There were still behavioral issues. They provided us with a therapist, and he started getting therapy in school. And some of the issues that I didn't know how to deal with, he began to come home responding to me differently, responding to my husband differently. When Pastor Ken talks about experiencing love, like the children experiencing love from their after school program, like it really is like a family experience. Like these are the people that I know they're protecting and loving on my children. They're disciplining my children. They're not, just allowing behavior to run rampant. It's almost very fatherly and very motherly in their interaction. I see my kids hug them, and they're excited to tell me the new things that they're learning and that they've done. So now, he is heading into 6th grade now. So we went from 3rd grade to 6th grade, 4th grade to 6th grade. And his last, the last quarter, he was getting F's all year, behavior issues all year. By the end of the school year, he was up to a C in all of his classes. And for some, that might seem like not a big deal, but going from F's to C's, like, we celebrated, you know what I mean? So his behavior, he's becoming such a little gentleman. We're able to see that he has a heart for other people and that he desires to help. Like he's blossoming in such a way that we never could have expected. We never could have accomplished on our own. We do need a village. ABW has helped us with food when it gets tight and we don't have enough. I consider us a middle-class family, but that doesn't mean that we don't struggle to manage our bills, to manage keeping food in the house, healthy food in the house, because certainly there's junk that we can always provide for our kids, but they provide us with fruits and vegetables, garden fruits and vegetables. Sorry.
You're fine. This is a safe space. I'm over here about to dab up, so you don't see like mascara running down the side of my face. It's just amazing work that Ken, Sandy, and Taylor and their staff are doing. My question to you is, have you seen your son pour into other kids? Almost like, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like a transformation of, he recognizes something maybe where he used to be. Do you see him now kind of stepping up and maybe saying, hey, you might want to try this way of how you tackle that problem? Or maybe like the reading buddies, why don't you come read with me, even though they may not be in the program, but it's still spreading that seed.
Yes, there are kids next door and in our neighborhood that he has connected with, and he invites them over our house to read when I say it's reading time. He's always trying to invite the kids to join after school and camp. So I've talked with other parents about it. But sometimes it's hard to convince folks that this really is what it is what we say it is. So yes, he is. We see the leader in him. He is going to be, I have no doubt in my mind that my son is going to be a leader of something someday, because he's always pulling in other kids and trying to give direction and a little bossy, but I think that it's being honed in such a way that he's going to be an excellent man as he grows.
Well, Lakita, thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm telling you, when people watch this, like you said, sometimes in certain communities, there is a mistrust. And, kind of like, are they really there to help, or are they not really there to help? But your story is really going to shine light on the amazing things. And like I said, I was getting emotional hearing your story, and we're going to root for your little man to win. A Better World has community partnerships, right? Because you can't do this, like we talked about, you can't do this by yourself. And one of those partnerships is with the Mecklenburg County ABC Board, which happens to be our sponsor for community mental health. And I'm going to bring in Senior Officer Scott Minderline with the Mecklenburg County ABC Board Community Engagement Law Enforcement Team. Officer Minderland, how are you?
How are
Minderland,
you?
I'm sorry. How
I'm
are
doing
you?
well. Doing well, thank you.
Great, great. Can you share with us the impact and success stories with the partnership with A Better World, which you have seen?
Absolutely. I have seen this firsthand by volunteered and helping out at A Better World. I've been helping them probably for the better part of a year and a half. And I agree with what Ken was saying about poverty and a lack of confidence can lead to substance abuse issues, whether it's illegal drugs or alcohol or something of that nature. And because without having that education, it's very easy to fall back into, well, let's just go out and do something that we shouldn't be doing, which is where they are leading people away from young kids. And I'll give you a story that we see a lot in law enforcement is we may be eating lunch or dinner and a mother will come up to us with her young children and will say, these are the people that will put you in jail if you don't do right. At which point we'll look at the kids and say, if your mama don't do right, we're going to put her in jail. So, I say all that to say this. We are trying to be approachable to these kids.
Yes.
We want them to come to us and not run from us, right? That's what we want. And that's what I see working at A Better World. And one big success story that has come out of what a lot of us doing from reading to young kids and helping them learn and engage with adults. One big thing that I have seen is there was one specific child that was being bullied, didn't know what to do.
Okay.
One of our officers could tell that something was going on, but didn't know what, and was able to build a bridge with this child, went to the child's house, talked to the mother, and was able to overcome this bullying issue and make this child a better person, which would have never happened if we would have never been involved at the world. So that's just one small little section that I can say that, outside of all the other ones we've done, but I know for a fact that we did help one kid that was being bullied, that one of the officers noticed something just wasn't right and was able to step in. But I will say again, I have been there. I have seen it. I have served food. I have taught the kids. I've had little kids fall asleep on me. I learned I'm not as good as I think I am. And, but it is an absolute great asset to the Charlotte Mecklenburg community. There's no doubt.
Oh my gosh, Officer Minderline, that was some amazing stuff that you were sharing. Can you share about the initiatives that you have the Plain in Sight initiative and also the asset classes? Can you talk about that partnership and how that works?
Absolutely. So Hidden in Plain Sight is a new program that we are just starting. And basically what it's going to entail is it's going to be for adults, parents, educators we actually are purchasing a trailer that we're going to tow behind and we'll take it with us. In this trailer is going to be a mock bedroom from a bed, a desk, a closet, so on and so forth, where we can bring in these adults a couple at a time and let them look around in there to see anything that they're not aware of. And I've got an example. I'll give you an example of this.
Okay, please.
A simple can that's sitting in a bedroom. This is just what you would buy in a store for $4. A parent might look at this and be like, oh, it's just a drink. It's heavy, whatever. But they don't know that if you screw the top off, you can hide an illegal substance in there. Also, they may go in their bathroom and see just a simple comb for a child or for a girl. But what they don't realize is that it's got a hidden compartment in it where people can put illegal drugs or whatever they want to put in there. These come in all different kinds of things. Starbucks even has one with a hidden.
Wow.
So there's all kinds of these things, but we're going to put them in there so that people become educated on what to look for in their child's room. Also, other little things. There could be something written down, maybe some kind of street slang of some kind of drug or something that they are using. And we're going to tow that around as an initiative to the multiple county area and get these things rolling so people can see what's going on. These Hidden in Plain Sights are big out west towards California side. However, we've never really done it as much here in North Carolina. But with our new community director, Kayla, she's kind of piggybacked on this thing, and I kind of jumped on this thing real hot and heavy. So I think it's going to be really good once we get this opportunity up for parents to see what is really out there. And then you mentioned the asset program. An asset program is basically an alcohol server seller education training program that we do predominantly through Mecklenburg County ABC.
Okay.
ALE has a bars program, be a responsible seller server. The state has a tips program. Things that permitted outlets that sell alcohol have to have this educational training. So in this educational training that we've been doing for quite a while now, we'll talk about what to look for with an underage person, why not to sell to an underage person, what the legal ramifications can be and the consequences of doing so for the business, but then on the other side of what can happen, because what a lot of people don't know is that every 15 minutes, somebody somewhere in the United States of America either dies or is seriously injured in a drunk driving motor vehicle accident.
Mm-hmm.
You say people get home one of two ways. They drive or they get a ride. Right? One of the two. And that's what we're trying to do, is keep adults from drinking and driving, but young people as well, because their mental and physical faculties are not fully developed yet. And, we try to push that message pretty hot and heavy to the local bars and nightclubs where, people do go.
Officer Middle, I have a quick question, because what you just pointed out, I'm not going to date myself on here, but it's so different now with the obstacles and the challenges that our kids face now, as young as like third grade, even down to second grade. So with that stuff that you just shared with the hidden compartments, which looks like, oh, that's nothing. Can you explain, like, because some people may think, oh, that's not happening in Charlotte, but can you just just because it's in a bigger city now with the internet, there also is like a trickle down effect, because you can see what somebody else is doing and you can bring it into the community that may not be as exposed, and then we've got a situation.
So there are multiple, I'm not going to say business names, but there are multiple businesses within the city and the adjoining counties that sell these things. They're not illegal to sell. It's not illegal for them to sell them, other than maybe a copyright violation from the company Starbucks itself, but it's not illegal to sell these things. So a lot of parents don't know they're out there, but more so with the I guess not marijuana, but the edibles that are out there, the legal edibles that are out there at this point in time. There has been an instance in Charlotte where a mother bought 2 packs of these. She took them home. The child thought that they were like Skittles and wound up eating half the pack, wound up having to go to hospital, got hospitalized, wound up being okay, but it could have been a lot worse from an overdose from a legal substance, so to speak, but the child thought it was candy because it looked like candy in there. So there was a school resource officer conference a couple of weeks ago that we attended and set up some of these things with the Secretary of State's office. And a lot of SROs were like, I've never seen that. I have no idea what that is. And that's from Yadkin County all the way to the coast of things that we may potentially in the future be able to take our program on a road show and show other people what we have, to smaller agencies that don't get the kind of education or the law enforcement education that you see in a big city, so to speak.
Oh, wow. Everyone, I tell you, I'm just feel so inspired by this powwow that we're having today. And thank you, Officer Minderline, for giving us those nuggets. We really do appreciate it, and the work and the partnership that everyone is doing right here. Mr. Gilliard, if you don't mind, I would like you, Sandy, and Taylor, if you don't mind, just give us some little nuggets, some little takeaways on how parents can provide a healthy back to school, both physically and mentally.
Well, I think the most important thing for parents, and and especially in the communities that we serve, is to we're doing a huge back to school program for this community, and I think it's what is it, August 10th, and it's going to be huge, and we're going to give away a lot of stuff to parents, and because so many parents, just don't have the things that, and I hate it for these parents. I mean, I just hate it for them, and I may be getting off subject a little bit, but these parents love their children. They love their children, and yeah, their children end up doing things that the parents should be responsible for. But these parents have got mental pain from their childhood too. And that's a broken person trying to raise a broken person. And when they get to these places to where they have to buy school clothes and book bags and trying to prepare their kids for school, that's extra stress on these parents.
Yes, it is.
I mean, that is burden. And I mean, and they already have the burden of trying to pay their bills. And, the rent has tripled, post-COVID. And these parents that we deal with are struggling. And so the thing I would ask this community to do is, one, I wish the word volunteer and mentor was on the tongues of more people these days. I think vote, volunteer, and mentor should be in the same breath.
Yeah.
Because, if we don't volunteer and mentor, we're going to continue to lose that 77% of these children that are failing in 8 Title I schools in a 3-mile radius. That's a lot of kids. And so what do I tell these parents? Hey, find you a good after school. Well, find a good place to take these kids. Man, that's a tough question. I mean,
you're doing some great stuff. I mean, we're sharing with people already. We're doing some great stuff, and I really do like what you said, volunteer and mentor, because some people feel like, well, what do I have to give? Your time. You would be very surprised by giving your time, right, whether it's an hour, whether it's 2 hours, or even 30 minutes, giving your time. It's addictive. Once people start really volunteering and giving their time and seeing the impact that they make. Right. You know what I mean? It gives back to them as it also builds and gives back to the kids. Taylor, can you give us a takeaway? And also tell us how people can learn more about the program as well. And you're the executive director.
Right. So I always say kids need 3 things and they thrive off these 3 things: love, structure, and discipline. And we've become that safe space, that outlet, that environment. We foster that positive environment for them to thrive. And these are some of our most resilient youth. They're the top readers in their school. And if they have that love, structure, and discipline, I mean, they'll thrive. To learn more, mentors, volunteering, we need homework helpers. We need the community's help. Even just sharing the word that we're open and serving. But our website is www.abetterworldcharlotte.org. We have social media on Instagram and Facebook. You can look us up, A Better World Charlotte, and you send us a message and we'll get you matched with a student. And I definitely want to stress that these students look forward to that. They'll come off the bus on a daily basis. Is my reading buddy today? Is my reading buddy today?
Oh.
And all it takes is 30 minutes once a week to connect with that child. And the impact is so great. And just spreading that word that we're open and serving.
And that's exactly what each and every one of you are doing. And Lakita has showed us how it's impacted her household, and it's still impacting, not only her son, but I see where it's kind of changed you too as a parent, because that's all parents want to do. They want the kids to win, no matter what resources they have or don't have. At the end of the day, the parents want their kids to win. And sometimes parents need a little more help in order to do that. And with your support of A Better World, Ken, you're making it happen. Sandy, you're making it happen too as well, Director of Operations, and Taylor, who's the Executive Director, and then partnering with Mecklenburg County, ABC. We got Officer Scott Menderline there. I mean, everybody. I mean, I'm that type of person, guys. It's got me hyped up. Like I feel like I want to lean in. Just so many great things are happening. We really appreciate you sharing your initiative with the series and things you have going on with the back to school and campus behavioral health, which we're getting kids ready. We're giving them the tools they need as they head back to school. And our time has come to a close. And like I said, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking out your time to share the great things that are happening with A Better World. And, who knows, from this, we might get a volunteer. We might get a mentor. We might get people that realize like, oh, I didn't know this was available for my child for after school care. And if you're a parent or a teacher, So I'm pretty sure you need teachers or someone that could benefit from these services. Please contact A Better World. All you got to do is give them a call at 704-398-3244. That's 704-398-3244, or go online at abetterworldcharlotte.org. Big thank you to Mecklenburg County ABC Board for making all of this possible. We appreciate you guys for providing the community with the means, resources, and organizations such as A Better World. Thank you all so much. And if you have any questions, feel free to share this too with your friends and family. Again, very excited for the work that you're doing, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless. Scott, thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, man. Big love.